It's a delight to be here. I will tell you that the past year has been simply amazing. There's been so much happening, and the speed with which it's happening. I'm 68 years old, okay? And I will tell you, my professional life has changed more in the past 12 to 24 months in terms of the way I do my work and what's been going on. And I want to take a little bit of time on behalf of Paul and their team here to welcome you to some of the amazing trends and some examples of what you're going to see over the next few days. We'd like you to come away with three things. First, to understand the speed with which these changes are happening. Second, to have some idea of what leaders are doing to deal with this massive change. And third, to understand that you have resources both from us in terms of our services and offerings, from our partners who are out living this in companies, as well as this community. Because at the end of the day, leaders learn from leaders. And you can't do this alone. And this is happening so quickly, you need to understand that. So it's been a year of acceleration. Things are happening faster at a faster rate. The first thing I want you to think about is we've crossed a threshold in this summer where silicon intelligence, the right way to think about this is not as a robot, not as a chatbot, anything like that. It is a hive mind of capability from which you can pull out staff, capabilities, activities, and actions. No, don't think about individuals anymore. Every individual is going to need their digital posse. Every person is a platoon, okay? Why is this the case? If you look, there's a wonderful test called the Multimedia Language Understanding Test, which is kind of like an IQ test for robots. The average human being gets just under 35%. An expert human being gets just under 90%. 3 months ago, 3 of the models passed 90%, and the top 10 models are all close to human experts. And you have to remember, this is the dumbest AI we're ever going to have. And they evolve in nano time. We live in human time. They live in nano time, which means they have, not yet, but soon, billions of years of evolution for every year that we have a year of evolution. So the speed of understanding is incredible. Let me just note some things that blew our minds in terms of how quickly they happened. First of all, from search engines to answer engines. If you have been looking, if you haven't taken the material about your company and made it available to the robots, people no longer are looking for Google and 10 blue lines. What they're doing is they are going and expressing their intent and getting answers back. Okay, this is happening in product choice. This is happening in the labor market. If somebody's coming to work for you, they're going to ask the robots about your company. And if you haven't opened up your company in a way that the robots can understand what's available, that's a problem. And there's $600 billion of search engine optimization money that's going to flow into this. Second thing, we are now in a post-text world. I don't know about you, I'm addicted to the YouTube Shorts and TikTok, as most people are, okay? The creation of those right now, whether you're doing a communication inside your organization or outside to the talent trying to hire them or making a pitch to a customer, if you're walking in with PowerPoints, your competitor's going to walk in with a movie with a push of a button that's got the customer inside it and communicating in this new way. That's available cheap. The third thing, agentic AI. This, I think, is the most amazing. If you look, PwC announced that they are going to hire 1/3 fewer people next year. Why is that the case? Because these agents, you're not just chatting with something, you're expressing your intent, and then a robot is going out and creating that capability. Paul later today will be demonstrating a few of these, in particular Manus, which is an amazing technology that allows you to basically do what a young consultant would do on a regular basis. Quantum, CustomGPT.ai is out here. It no longer hires individuals. They want to know who that individual is. They look at their resume and they say, show me your robots. So if you have kids graduating from college, and I was just at Northern Kentucky University talking about this, you want them to graduate not just with their resume, but they better show their posse, because the employer wants to know, what can you do? Can you work in this new hybrid environment where it's you plus your robots? AI is the new product engine. This is happening. Saks Fifth Avenue is here. They use AI to help generate new products, new ideas, innovation. Down the street here at the Broad Institute, in conjunction with MIT, they reviewed over 65 million possible targets for a new antibiotic that would hit things like MRSA, the antibiotic-resistant bacterium. And now they think they have 3 promising molecules that they're going to go after. And that is amazing in terms of new product development. Last but not least, I had the good fortune, Jeff Rayport and I created the first e-commerce course at Harvard Business School. Jeff's going to teach a case tomorrow morning. And we didn't see 3 years into that organizations completely reconfiguring themselves. JPMorgan is going to be here later. They're claiming at least 10 to 20% productivity increases. They've trained tens of thousands of their employees. The CEO of Walmart, Doug McMillon, 3 days ago said, and you have to remember, Walmart employs 2.1 million people. As a point of reference, there's 175 million people in the US labor market. Now, I understand those 2.1 million aren't all in the US. And the CEO of Walmart said, there are probably jobs that AI won't impact, but right now, I can't think of any. He said, we're going to still put humans in front of humans until robots come and they want to buy stuff, and then we'll put robots in front of robots. The CEO of Walmart. Jeff and I did not see that with the internet. This is happening so fast. Elephants are dancing. What have we been doing this year? Well, we've been on the beach. It's been really good. I've got a great tan. No, it's been busy. We're proud to say that we've had over 20 new customers. This is the largest GAI World we've had so far. It's increased by about 50%. Next year, we're going to have it here at the Heinz. We hope to fill the whole thing. But anyway, this community continues to grow. We've got over 20 new corporates. We're really working on insights to impact. What is the leading edge of the practical? In that endeavor, we've got over 10,000 folks in our news community. We've got about 7,000 folks that we have trained, about 3,000 folks in our learning lab community, and so forth. We've also had the opportunity to do work at Davos. We've had over 400 news shows. And we have what we offer to help you in this AI journey is a combination of strategy, education and enablement, research and news, and perhaps most importantly, community, learning from each other about what's really happening and how you're getting it done. And we've purposely designed this event to have you meet some of those people who are going there. Now, we're trying to figure out how to really communicate this, and we had an internal debate and so forth. Anyway, we came up with this idea of going to AI land. Some people thought that was kind of hokey in our team, but at the end of the day, we want you to think about what does it really mean to go to a new place, a new language, new customs, new behaviors, because that's what is happening in these mature companies, that they are leading. And when you think and hear about the news about AI and generative AI, of course there'll be people who overinvest. Of course there'll be people who are going to lose money. Of course there may be things that don't work. Nothing is 100%. But beware of averages, because we're really talking about two populations. We're talking about the leaders that are moving ahead faster, and then the rest. And if you haven't been to AI land, you don't know the language, you don't know the customs, you don't know how it works. So do not listen to the average. And the challenge is, in just about every industry in the next 24 to 48 months, there's going to be a leader. They're going to move ahead. And what we've done, whether it's folks like Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, the Mayo Clinic, who are both here talking about what is it like to live in AI land, and increase your aspirations. In order to get at this, we have a maturity model that I want you to all think about. Where are you on this? And by the way, I got this in dialogue with a robot. I said, what's a great acronym, blah, blah, blah. We ended up with RISE. What's RISE? It is research and experimentation, phase 1. Innovation and implementation, islands of innovation, phase 2. Synchronization, scaling, orchestration, phase 3. And then emerging intelligence. And we have services that help people at different stages here. So in terms of insight to impact, things like early education, project strategy and implementation, thinking about how do you think about what the scaling factors are, and then what does an organization look like with emerging intelligence. We see most people in 1 and 2, and the big challenge, the sail across the sea, is when you go from 2 to 3. So we've seen organizations try to hop straight to 3. Consultants will come in and say, oh, we're going to transform your organization. We have not seen that happen to work once. The reason it doesn't is you don't know the language. People are talking past each other. The AI is such an amorphous idea until you start to use it and in dialogue. People don't understand. It's not about a robot in a corner. It's about a hive mind that changes the way that you work. That changes the way that you think. It changes the way that you explore. So you only get that with a top-down, bottom-up capability where you get senior executives who support it and then folks learning hands-on, as my colleague Paul likes to say, hands in the clay. There's no substitute for that. The second, islands of innovation. This is where you have net present value. Hey, let's go fix marketing. Let's go put a chatbot for customer service. Let's go do an education app so that when people are onboarded, they can understand that. Let's give our maintenance people the ability to just take a phone, which you can do now, and point it at anything, say, what is this? And where do I get it? Where can I get it repaired? How much does it cost? You can do that now with the general models. That's what you do in the first 2 things. Then when you get to synchronization and orchestration, those are folks like Blue Cross Blue Michigan, like Mayo. They're starting to build an infrastructure. We're starting to see a pattern. You have an infrastructure, Goldman Sachs has this, a platform of intelligence that then has applications on top of it and has different agents and so forth. And then human beings, expert human beings. But that new pyramid, the bottom, is filled in by silicon intelligence. And then last but not least, and this is the thing that's really scary if you think strategically. If you look, and we only see this today in the hyperscalers and the technology companies, where the AI is building the AI. This is really important because you can't buy your way to level 3 and level 4. You can't just purchase technology. You can't, because you have to grow that capability. And you have to remember that if you're in 3 to 4, they're learning at a faster rate that'll be very hard to catch. So not only are they ahead, they're running faster and learning how to run even faster and maybe hopping in an automobile or an airplane in terms of their speed. We predict that in 26 and 27, many major industries will have emerging intelligence leaders. So that is the strategic situation, okay? Some of the companies speak at the conference. Let me talk a little bit about One Digital. Vinay Gudwani is going to talk about how they are now launching another set of digital employees. So they have over a couple dozen digital employees that interact with their workers who help with benefits and investing advice for companies and individuals. And their thing is all about taking their best people and making them even better. And if you've ever run a sales force, you know that most of the value is created by the top salespeople, actually sometimes more than 100% of the value if you're destroying value somewhere else. And so imagine having an organization that now has a posse of people plus silicon intelligence who are now competing in that marketplace. That's who you're competing against. Also, we're delighted to have these companies attending the conference. Again, in the notion of how giants are learning to dance, we've got a lot of large companies here, startup companies, and the speed of learning is amazing. I also want to do a couple notable items. My friend Jeffrey's going to teach a Harvard Business School case tomorrow morning. We're also going to have Spot the robot dog, who's here. Tomorrow morning we'll have Women in AI breakfast. This has got a lot of momentum, a lot going on in that community that continues to grow. Celebrating Black pioneers. We'll be at lunch tomorrow. For the first time, we're going to have product demos, and we're also going to have we're going to have 2 breakouts around how we at GAI use technology in our business, because we're an AI-first company, and how we use it if you're curious about what we're doing. And then we'll have another breakout session that talks about how do you get across this RISE framework from insight to impact. We have a shared document that we would encourage you to join. It's tinyurl.com, GAI World 2025. And in that document, you can put in questions, thoughts, disagreements, whatever. We'll try to take some of those things and put them into this conversation, and if not answered here, we'll answer them after the fact. And last but not least, because we're sold out, we have a live stream that's available to anyone for free. So if anyone at your organizations or in your family circle or friends, they are welcome to go to GAI World 2025.com. Sorry, it's just GAIworld.com. The 2025 shouldn't be there. GAIworld.com, and look for a live streaming button over in the bottom right side. And that's available to them for everything that's on the main stage for free. So, and last but not least, we really want to thank our sponsors and partners and our exhibitors. As leaders in your organizations, they are people who are out working these issues with real companies in real time. They are here to teach you, to help you understand what is possible with them and in general. So please avail yourself of it because, again, we are in a learning race here. So I hope that you will think about where you are in this journey. Are you starting to think about going on the journey? Are you in the research and experimentation phase? Are you starting to build islands of automation? You're starting to pack? Have you actually boarded the ship and you're starting to go across the ocean? Or have you landed in AI land or building a new kind of society with emerging intelligence? And to think about where are you, where do you want to go, and how are you going to get there? So with that, let the journey begin. Thank you.